And we're back with more Andrew Fox Show. Our next guest tonight, he was on Caroline's Presents, and he's the host of the Erik Terrell Show. Give it up for Erik Terrell.
Yeah!
What's up, man? What's happening? Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
I like your cup.
Yeah, it's a fox.
It's got a fox. Oh, man.
Yeah, I came prepared.
That's awesome. Yo, so tell the folks at home about the Erik Terrell Show.
So the Erik Terrell Show is a radio show that I do about race, relationships, and religion. I haven't done it in about a year, but I plan on bringing it back. I'm in the process of building my own radio studio or like getting my own radio equipment and doing it myself, and making it like an official podcast. I did it on blogtalkradio.com.
Okay.
For the past like 5 years, and last year, Blog Talk Radio changed their policies. They're like, you gotta have like a certain amount of listeners to have a free account. So I'm like, nah, I can't, I can't pay for an account, and I can't have this many listeners. I'm not that popular. So you gotta build my own
you gotta
studio.
do it yourself.
Yeah.
We did ourselves, and we have 0 listeners.
Hey,
No one's mad at us.
Yeah, it'll be back though. It'll be back.
That's awesome. But you've been doing radio forever. What was Erik in the Afternoon?
When I was 11,
Yeah.
I started doing Erik in the Afternoon.
Wow.
Crazy. Like, I was super pretentious, and as a kid, I thought I was like the most woke person. I was just gonna let the world know how to live, and it went well.
Hit it?
Do recordings still exist?
The
show?
the recordings?
Yeah.
I gotta get them online. They exist in my house somewhere. Like, I
Yeah.
made like cassettes and CDs.
We can listen to a 11-year-old Erik Terrell.
Talking
Hey
about
guys,
premarital
welcome to the
pregnancy.
show.
Only way more excited.
Have you listened to them recently?
No.
No?
Oh, God.
Can you do it?
So, what was a line I had? So I will come back from commercial break.
Yeah, we do
And I'm
that
like,
too. We're very much like you at 11.
these commercial breaks are way more legit than the 11-year-old Erik Terrell.
We're probably taking pictures of that.
Yeah.
We're probably just as woke as you were at 11.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, welcome back to Erik in the Afternoon. Let's just stretch it out like that. Erik in the Afternoon. I'm like, you got the time, you got the rhyme, stay on this channel. What I meant by that, I've got no idea. But.
That's awesome. Would you get like relatives to listen to it?
Yeah, relatives and people from my church.
Really?
Which most of them, in hindsight, probably just wanted to be supportive of the 11-year-old following his dream, doing
It's pretty cool.
doing radio shows in his house. But
What kind of guests would you have?
I would have ministers from my church.
Really?
And yeah, it was ridiculous. I tried to get like the most elite people on the show, because this was like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't just some bullshit that any 11-year-old did.
Exactly.
So I made it as legit as possible. I had like, ministers and like psychologists and people like that come on, and we would talk about like real life, things. But it's weird, in hindsight, obviously being 11, I'm like, these people were probably like, dude, talking to an 11-year-old about premarital pregnancy. And
Did you take any like strong stand or anything like that?
Oh, that was bold. That was very bold. It was very
What was
bold.
your stance back then? Has it changed?
Don't get pregnant.
Don't get pregnant.
Don't get the premarital pregnancy is not what you should do.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't like, mean or anything like that. But I was talking about going to college.
Okay.
Trying to make sure kids go to college.
Uh-huh.
It was positive. It was good. It was good.
Have you followed your examples?
I went to college. I haven't any kids yet, but
You did it. You did it. And you used to speak at your church?
Sure. Well, I did a lot of speaking when I was a kid at church.
Wow.
That's really how I like got my confidence, actually, like to speak in front of people. Because growing up in church, like my whole church looked at me as like a funny guy, and I really embodied that persona. And it really wasn't funny stuff, but I made everything really, really captivating. I mean, I would read scriptures, I would introduce guest preachers, make tithing appeals.
That's pretty good.
And I mean, and I would sit down like, man, I am rocking in here. I am doing it.
Was that 11 too, or even younger?
That started around 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
11, 12, 13.
And then when did you make the transition from like God's house to CD comedy clubs?
Right. right. Where like 11-year-olds aren't allowed.
Yeah.
Or 17-year-olds. But when I was in college.
Really? Yeah. Where'd you start at?
I started comedy at the Laugh House.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And you did their last show ever?
I did, which was 2 years later after I started. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2013.
How'd that experience go for you?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's funny because I don't have a lot of experience with hecklers, especially rambunctious hecklers that want to like either start a big debate with you or fight you or take you outside.
Did that ever happen at church?
But that happened at that show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man, reading those scriptures is tough.
And now you open at Helium and Punchline sometimes?
Yeah.
And you open for Dick Gregory.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was
That was
awesome.
like right before he died, right?
It actually was. Yeah.
What was he like?
His last time performing in Philly.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. And I mean, not to be like morbid or anything, but after the show, me and David James, who's the other comedian that opened for him, we were like, we got to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
Because we don't know when if he's gonna be back in Philly again or if he's gonna do stand up again.
Yeah.
And like we just like opened for this guy who was like
a legend.
a freaking icon.
Yeah.
And I mean, normally as comedians, you don't want to take pictures with if you don't want to take pictures with the people you're opening for.
Right.
Because you're working with them. So, I mean, if you're like at a show, it's okay. But you want them to look at you as a peer.
Yeah.
So normally you don't do that.
I never let James take pictures of me.
Yo, and so this time we're looking like we should just be act like we're kids again and just take this picture.
Yeah.
And in the back of our heads we're both like we don't even know if he'll be like kicking for long. Like, dude's like almost
You were
90.
spot on, by the way. A couple months later.
And so we took a picture with him, and I look at my picture with him now, like, God, I'm happy I took that picture.
Yeah.
I said it's on your Instagram, yeah.
Yeah. So it was.
Or is he like James?
Doing my research.
Yo, he's the greatest at research.
I know.
James is. God.
He does all the work. I would say.
He knew things about me now. Yeah. He was like, yeah, you did this when you were 10, and I'm like, you know what, that happened.
I don't know how you know that.
Right, like Radiation Man and Electricity Boy. I made those cartoons when I was like 9, and he had it written in his paperwork. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, it helps when you write like a 2-page bio.
Yeah,
like you did
that's
on
true.
your
I did
website.
do that.
Yeah. He knows how to read. Surprises most of our guests when they look at him. They're like, what? Well, you're going to Glasgow?
Glasgow.
Glasgow. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, you're probably right actually. I don't know why I did that.
I think that's it. You can go now.
Yeah, I've always been saying Glasgow. No one's corrected me yet, so I feel like it's Glasgow.
I think you're probably right. I don't know
Yeah.
anything. But that's a big deal.
I think it is. I think
It's
it
first time
I hope it
overseas?
is. Yeah.
Yeah? How'd you get that?
I mean, it sounds super non-interesting, but I just asked, I just like the people who produced the Glasgow Comedy Festival.
Glasgow. No.
Glasgow. Whatever the fuck you said the first time. I've just been communicating with them for like the past 3 or 4 years. Just like knocking on that door like 2 or 3 times a year. Like, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things over here in America. And like, here's my new clip, here's my new credits, here's my new references, and they finally were like, yeah, come on over. So
You open for Dick Gregory? Of course you can come here.
that's probably what it was.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Was Dick Gregory like an influence growing up?
No,
No?
not
You
at all.
found about him later?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who are your guys?
Rock,
Yeah.
Chappelle, Pryor.
Pryor.
They're my biggest guys.
Mhm.
Those three guys.
And like, you think you'll be somebody's guy one day?
That's the plan.
That's the
Yeah,
plan?
Yeah, that's the plan.
You did Caroline Presents?
Yeah,
How was that?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, it's weird, you know, like almost like when I was doing the show with Dick Gregory, you know, and you're like in the green room with Dick Gregory. It's just like doing something like Caroline's Presents because you're on the show with these people and you're like, man, I saw him on TV. I saw him on TV.
That's great.
I've never been on TV.
Yeah. Who are some of the people you're on with?
Sam Morrill,
Oh, yeah.
Ron G.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, I'm like, yeah, like you look at the lineup and you're like, yeah, my name's on the same paper with those guys. it's weird.
Yeah.
Nothing else, no other way to describe it. It's just weird.
Uh-huh.
It's weird, surreal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was awesome. It was awesome.
When I see my name next to James, it's
Yeah.
getting a lot. But you're
It's
engaged
serious.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm trying to just, you know,
Is she supportive?
jack my career all the way. No, she's awesome. She's very
Yeah?
supportive. Yeah,
That's very good.
very supportive.
Does it get into your act at all?
It hasn't yet, but
No?
it will very, very soon.
You think
I
so?
warn her all the time. I'm like, you know, I'm going to talk about you a lot.
Yeah. Is she nervous?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm nervous. But I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you have to.
Marriage and the material.
He didn't hold anything back. Not James, Richard Pryor.
Yeah, we're usually not in the same sentence.
No. Alright, good.
Unless it's not James Richard Pryor.
I said-
So where could the folks at home find you? You got a big social media presence?
Well, the best way, my favorite way to find me is myerikterrell.com.
Oh, okay, that's an important.
That's the
thing to have.
website.
Yeah.
Any other ways you can find me through myerikterrell.com.
That's how James found you.
That's God. He found the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Not James Richard Pryor, whatever. But,
Instagram is my Erik Terrell time /
Not my Erik Terrell time. Erik Terrell time.
Oh yeah.
So I should probably make my website erikterrelltime.com. Someday it'll be that. But for some reason it's myerikterrell.com. But my Instagram and Twitter are both Erik Terrell Time.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Dude, thank you.
It means a lot.
Thank
You're
you.
one of our favorite comics, for real.
Awesome.
So it's really cool.
Awesome.
to
I
have you
really
on the show.
appreciate it. It's
And
an
good
honor.
luck with everything.
Someday I'm going to be honored to say I did the Andrew Fox show.
Yeah.
You know?
Vice versa.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Erik Terrell, everybody. We'll be right back.